Welcome to the Post-COVID Recovery Guide, Module 3, Managing Brain Fog and Cognitive Impairment. This is Lesson 2, Managing Brain Fog. So, how can you manage brain fog? There are many different self-management strategies that you can try in your everyday life, at home, at work, in your relationships to manage your brain fog symptoms. So cognition is affected by many factors, and managing these different factors can improve your cognition. Since many of these factors have an influence on each other, inducing a positive change in one domain can, in turn, positively affect the other domains. So general strategies to managing brain fog include number one, identifying and minimizing your triggers. So consider keeping a diary or journal to track various aspects of your daily life, what you eat, what you're putting in your body, supplements, environment, overall health, and activity levels. After keeping track of them for 2 weeks or so, you can go back and compare the days where you felt your brain fog symptoms were at their worst. So remember, different things will affect people differently. If you have certain intolerances to or sensitivities to foods, something like gluten can stick around for 2 weeks, and it causing inflammation in the body. But other things may, be a shorter time frame. So keep in mind when reflecting on that journal what the different time periods. Also keep in mind that post-exertional malaise typically occurs in the 24 to 72 hours following an event. And it may last for days, but sometimes weeks if it is an extreme overdoing it or pushing through. So identifying these triggers can allow you to consciously avoid these activities, foods, processes, whatever that may be worsening your symptoms. The next is staying within your energy envelope. So if you'll remember back in Module 2, we discussed a lot about the energy envelope, where brain fog and fatigue are so closely related. Staying within your energy envelope is critical. Using energy conservation or pacing to stay within this energy envelope and avoid PEM or post-exertional malaise crashes. Post-exertional malaise, as you know from Module 2, can exacerbate and worsen all of your symptoms, unfortunately, including brain fog. Listen to your body, understand your body's limits and your brain's limits when engaging in physical or mental tasks. By being self-aware of your available energy, you can balance your energy spending activities with your energy saving activities. So going back to the 4 Ps, so a quick refresher from Module 2. So plan, pace, prioritize, and position. Positioning being wearing comfortable clothes, sitting in your chair rather than standing. Also, I added in here the 4 Ds. So do, delegate, defer, and delete. So these are the 4 Ds of time management. Similarly, what needs to be done, what can be left to later, what can you just take off your list altogether, and who can you delegate to? Next is give yourself frequent breaks. You may consider breaking your work time into chunks. That's usually quite effective for a lot of us with brain fog. This can mean working on a task for 10 minutes, taking a break, and then resuming with the same task or a completely different task after your rest time. One thing that I find, and others do find quite helpful, is making stop notes. So that will allow you to stop at a specific time if you set your timer and not feeling like you need to power through, so you can just get out everything that's in your brain. So if you stop, write down exactly what you're thinking, what your plan or your train of thought is, so that you can stop before you start to feel symptomatic, and then you can come back and pick up right where you left off. The next is stress management. So stress sucks up energy and mental space. Um, Finding healthy ways to cope with your stress are important. There can be many different stress management strategies that can work for each individual person. So some of them are listed below. So reducing stress and improving overall well-being are important with post-COVID, and especially with post-COVID brain fog, as our brains are highly sensitive during this time. So the first is exercise. Regular physical activity can help reduce stress by releasing endorphins, which are chemicals that act as a natural mood elevator. Exercise looks different for each of us long haulers. For some, it might be a walk around your home or a living space every few hours. I know at the beginning or the worst part of my journey, it was getting up to get myself a glass of water and stopping at the washroom on the way by. And I could only do that every few hours. It may be going for a walk up your street for others, or even a recumbent bike at the gym for others. Meet your body where it's at. And remember, save 20% to avoid PEM or post-exertional malaise. The next stress management technique is relaxation. So this looks different for everyone also. It's very individualized. Something that is relaxing to one may be irritating to another. Find what works for you. Practices such as laying down to rest with no agenda, meditation, mindfulness, and gentle yoga can help you relax and reduce stress. The most accessible and least expensive way to relax is with a few deep breaths. So I like to do 2 breaths in, 2 sips of breath in, and 1 big breath out. We'll do it together now if you'd like to join me. Just feel that stress and tension melting away. So time management is another stress management technique. Try the 4 Ds by prioritizing tasks, setting aside dedicated time for relaxation. You can better manage your workload and reduce stress. Social support is so critical to stress management, particularly post-COVID, where we're not fully understood by the general community. So building a strong network of supportive people around you can provide that sense of community, reduce feelings of isolation and stress. Our community here is a great safe space where others understand, validate, and empower each other. Therapy with a mental health professional is extremely helpful. If one-to-one therapy isn't accessible to you, or if it is and you like the extra support, attend our group therapy classes or support circle events. Getting enough sleep is underrated. I will discuss more with that in another slide or two. So, generally here, it's important to find stress management strategies that work best for you. Different approaches work for different people. Experiment with different ones, try them out and see what works best for you. So the next technique to managing brain fog is optimize your mental health. So I did touch on it on the last slide with stress management, but specifically, I wanted to highlight this because a lot of us long haulers suffer from a lot of mental health issues. This is due to brain inflammation, and it also is due to our very challenging circumstances. Addressing low mood and anxiety are really important. If you're experiencing, low mood or anxiety or any other mental health issues, address it and find ways to manage it, as this can really impact your thinking and learning processes. Again, I can't stress this enough. It's so important when dealing with a major health issue because mental health is health. Okay, as promised, I'll discuss a little bit more about sleep. So adequate sleep is so important for overall well-being and can help manage stress more effectively. Enough sleep can help with regulating our emotions and cognitive processing, which then has a multiplied effect. Um, while the amount of sleep everyone needs is individualized, try to get in at least 8 hours of sleep at night. Understanding that symptoms such as post-exertional malaise, PEM, the sympathetic nervous system, activation or overdrive can make it very challenging. Um, a lot of people, myself included, do have a lot of body pain, and that can cause us to wake up a lot throughout the night. Um, some people do find supplementing your sleep, your nighttime sleep with daytime naps can help. Sleep allows our body to recover and heal. And specifically, dreaming sleep, also commonly known as REM, REM sleep, has been linked to improving learning and memory. So there I'm going to go all into sleep and the importance of it and how to improve it in Module 4. So stay tuned for that. And finally, practice acceptance. So this one's a tough one. Accepting your symptoms can allow you, though, to be more aware of them and empower you to take an active role in managing them. While it may be distressing, give yourself reminders from time to time that it is okay to experience cognitive challenges. I had a particularly challenging time accepting my cognitive impairment because my brain and cognitive processes are so important to me. One approach that helped me accept my brain fog is to accept it for now. Understanding that I can help improve my brain fog over time, celebrating the wins, even the small wins. While I do still have brain fog, and I experience it every day, it has significantly improved with some of these strategies. So if it can improve for me, it can improve for you too. Okay, let's talk about specific strategies that you can start doing right now, start doing today. So specific strategies for managing brain fog include managing your priorities. So I've said this a few times now. Managing your priorities are so important. So consider using an 80-20 analysis. When you're experiencing brain fog, your mental resources are limited. Consider your priorities, distinguish which tasks you need to do versus want to do, and which ones can be delegated. So here's a few questions to ask yourself to determine where you should focus your mental energy for those of you new to the 80-20 rule. So which 20% of your tasks make up 80% of your priorities? For some, it might be making meals. For others, it might be work-related or cleaning. Everyone's individual. Which 20% of sources are responsible for 80% of your happiness? That is a big one. I find a lot of us long haulers have so little energy that we deprioritize what's important to us and focus on being in survival mode. But long COVID, it is not a sprint, it is a marathon. And delaying your happiness until you get better, whenever that will be, is really unfair to yourself. So figure out a way how you can focus on your mental health and your happiness. And then again, which 20% of your work efforts will contribute to 80% of your positive results. Okay, the next one is break big tasks into smaller tasks. So you can work on the smaller tasks one step at a time. Write a list of small tasks and cross them off as you accomplish them. It feels good. And you have a record of them and can take frequent breaks without feeling like you have to have all that information holding onto it in your brain. So SMART goals. So these are goals that are specific, measurable, attainable, very important, to be realistic and relevant and time-bound. Start with small goals first and then build up over time as your symptoms become more stable and you increase capacity. So plan your day efficiently. This is a big one, and I think a bit underrated. So take advantage when you are feeling your most alert or you have the most energy in the day. Typically for me, that would be the afternoon. So do the more challenging tasks when you normally have more mental clarity. Another tip is if you are able to do the hardest task at your best time of your day to set yourself up for success. And sometimes people feel doing the most important tasks earlier in the day helps reduce stress, and stress, as we know, can use up significant energy and mental resources. It also allows for if you don't feel better or if you don't feel well later in the day, it kind of gives you space to just meet your body where you're at. Okay, let's take a break here before continuing this lesson. I'll see you over in the next video.